So I said, Amtrack considered the alternative from Amtrack to Zappy. And we'll go over the why, when, what, where, and how in a moment. But what came about was Dave, at one of the meetings, I guess it may have been September, could have been in August, said that the Department of Energy was going to put on the E-Vision 2000 conference. And I've been feeling such a slug. I haven't been doing too much except Army duty at the Pentagon, and it just like, oh, what do I do to get really involved back in electric vehicles? And on the back of my mind, when I finished the tour duty I was on, I was going to Amtrack around the whole country called the US of A. And this was coming about in July, and then I thought, well, why not do something to promote this? And at this conference, the technique came out foremost. It was called the Delphi approach, where some 30 experts were asked, if you could talk to somebody who was a time traveler, they went out to the year 2020 and came back, and you could talk to them, what would be the questions you would ask? Now, you'd only get 10 questions, and there's one little caveat, one little bump in the road, you might say. If I was a time traveler, I was mute. I could only answer you yes or no. And it was from this exposure that they got consensus on maybe one item, and that was about global warming from these experts about what the future may hold. But I thought maybe I could go out in America and talk to the people when I get on board a train, talk to somebody. But I needed a hook, I needed a gadget, so to speak, a kid magnet, if you say, to appeal to the kid in each and every one of us. And that was who comes to be known as Mr. Snappy Zappy, the All-American. Some of you have had the opportunity to be on board the Zappy electric scooter. Can I see a little bit of show of hands? Those that have had an opportunity. 1, 2, 3, 4. Charlie, Dave, raise your hand. Yes, okay. So here was this opportunity to take a fold-up machine that snaps open, comes down, go on the road with a backpack, and there is a website that has this. Now this machine came to me because I went to this one event called the Northampton Electric Autocross and Road Rally down in North Carolina, and was talking to individuals like I'd be talking to, saying, I'm looking to go out and Amtrack around the country, but I need to get a scooter. And they said, oh, well, we've got an electric scooter. We're the alternative neighborhood transportation folks. And here's an electric scooter. Would you like us to do a web page for you, too? You know, all heart of mine. So with this in mind, it was like grace. Something was just occurring. So on the 23rd of October, I took off with this idea. I had a cheap ticket, Amtrack, 30-day ticket, consecutive travel, $459. And it was saying, try the alternative, the off-season. The on-season pass, it's about $679. What was I going to do? It was in line with, if you've heard about this EV-1 across America, General Motors, superb machine, where some guy left Los Angeles and had his whole trip on the website. Well, I didn't quite have that backing. I think I was short a couple $100,000 here or there. But I could take a Zappy around America, and I could put back a story. So sometimes what was the proper title, Amtrack, consider the alternative from Amtrack to Zappy, became Writing on the Rails, W-R-I-T-I-N-G, so that each day, if I could get to a computer, get on the internet, I would enter a little entry into www.ant-nc.com to say, here's where the tales that I had, or here's some of the things that I found out traveling across the country. And some were amazing. Others were even the thought that not that many people knew about the alternatives. They were just going blissfully along, moaning and groaning about the high cost of gasoline, when in fact it's still dang well cheap. So I would ask them, what if you couldn't have this, and see what answers would come up. But I guess what was there was that we still have much more public information to go out and to do to let people know that there are viable opportunities, viable alternatives, things that they can do, whether it's just conserving energy, or maybe once a week take public transportation, practice it, or once a month go out with a family on a bus or a train, or take Amtrack and do it in the off-season. Consider even a bus. Consider the bike path, the walkway. All these were part of the discussion. So when did I do this? 23rd of October, and came back into DC right on Thanksgiving Eve. It was dark 30, as they say in the military, very early in the morning, like 5:30. That was the event, to try and capture something. When I got back, I could say, thank God, because one truth came out very well. I think, Tom, you might realize this, being an old military guy, that the mind can only take as much as a seat can stand. And when I totaled up the mileage, 12,253 miles, and it figures out about 50 miles an hour that I'm on my tush. So I'm thinking, gosh, did I sit a few miles there? I lost shape back here. It was flat. But be that as it may. Well, let me finish up by saying there is a website. I will be happy to give it to you personally. It's real easy. It's called like antnc.com. www.ant- like a hyphen, nc.com that I'm going to put out. And hopefully maybe some outfit for public consumption will take that and put it out to America. Thinking Reader's Digest would be a nice one, National Geographic, you know, some small kind of outfit. But the good news I'd like to finish up with is that there'll be Amtrack 2, because I was the last man, I'm going to make a claim, I'm going on record, the last man in the 20th century to Amtrack to the four corners of the US of A. But there's a challenge for you. You possibly could be the first man or woman to Amtrack in the 21st century to all four countries of the US of A. With that, I want to let you know that when I ended up, I was acknowledged by the Assistant Secretary of Energy, Dan Riker. I got the ball cap to prove it. And I'll pass this around to let you know that at least the Department of Energy was on our side, and I'm still waiting to hear from Amtrack. Without further ado, Mr. President.
Hearing.
Sir.
Messages of greeting to you from around the world.
Oh, well, it started off that we had foreign country people calling in from Netherlands, from Australia, you know, the foreign countries like Texas and other places. But I think we ended up with the website having some 4,000 hits. And look at that as being the first wave. The second wave, if DOE does a little publicizing, then that could be the second wave, and the third wave would be hopefully when I can get the story out to the public at large. And just to let you know, perhaps, you know, what was the cost? I haven't totaled it out, but I know by the mileage it came out to be about 3.7. All right, I'll round it up a little bit. 3.75 cents per mile. Without that, or with that? Or Dave, you want me to way down?
Jerry,
Question, Chip, yes.
you discuss your campaign?
Oh, my campaign, my Do It Right campaign? Well, I wanted the president and the webmaster and what I've looked to do when I was on this Amtrack venture, E-Venture, Jerry's E-Venture, I wanted to drop into other chapters. I wanted to also see the board of directors out west. Let them know that they've got a center of gravity alive and well back here. But I didn't quite get to see any of the board members, even though I had emailed them way out in advance. Talked to Kurt Bowen, who's our board member and the editor of Current Events, saying, hey, I'm available. He says, Oh, well, why don't you write it up and send it in to me? You know, I'm in San Francisco, and I won't be writing it up and send it in to you. And we get together, because that's what I was intending to do. But I didn't get any particular success with any of the chapter members. In the future, if I was to do Amtrack 2 or Canada on Track 1, I would like to meet with people in that regard. One of the happiest events, though, Chip, in this effort to say we need East Coast representation on the board of directors is to do a write-in. I'm willing to be a write-in candidate, and I won't ask for a recount unless you demand that I should.